episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Woo! It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks. So I just want to start this off by saying I apologize for not uploading anything last week. We didn't record a podcast last week. It was Mrs. G1's birthday, so I was going to initially drop an after party on Saturday, but that birthday lasted throughout the weekend, and unfortunately, G1, myself, I couldn't get up to upload anything because A, it was the wife's birthday weekend, and B, Gears 5 dropped, and it's been taking up most of my time. I'm sorry, I apologize right now. We'll get into that a little later. Before we go into the show, let me introduce you to, he's back, ladies and gentlemen, my brother, G73 Megzy, a.k.a. Chase, from looking for giant monsters in the wilderness. Chase, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Oh man, it's going all right. I'm a little bit under the weather. I was sick the past week, and I'm not sick anymore, but I'm just suffering from the nasal congestion. But I'll get over that quick. But other than that, I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to have you back. We missed your brother, and also joining us as always and usual, we got Gab Z1 Andrew. What's up, my brother?
Oh, I'm quite all right. A bit broke from all the purchases I've made these past 2 weeks. But
ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna open up a GoFundMe page for Gam because he's struggling right now with his Godzilla collection, and now he decided to take on a new venture in the form of Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. And I've seen some of his figures, and I gotta be honest, they don't come cheap. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, donate a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter. Anything will help poor Gam Z1 get himself a cup of noodles for dinner.
Yes.
Some chopped ramen.
Some chopped ramen. All right, so listen, last podcast, we had special guest Rob Jera on. Rob Jera. We talked about the BluRay, the DVD, and all the special features on that. Chase wasn't here for that. So I want Chase to, because of course you've got the BluRay, if you've watched it several thousand times already. I want to know what you thought of the special features and all the ins and outs of the BluRay. Like, were you happy to have Godzilla King of the Monsters in your house watching it, or were you like me, watched it again and said, you know, it's not what I thought it was when I came out of theater?
It's definitely, I'm glad that I have it on my shelf, a part of my collection. It's not a thing where it's like, I'm not happy with not watching it, of course. I'm not saying you are either, but I've watched it maybe 5 times since I've had it and since it's come out. But mostly it's when I'm going to bed at night, so I have it on as background noise and stuff. But it's actually pretty interesting because I do that with Jurassic Park, and I do that every night with Jurassic Park. But I was doing it with King of the Monsters, and once it gets to the Rodan scene, it's not background noise anymore. I'm fully captivated 100%. And I end up watching it and then falling asleep. But I mean, I'm glad I have it. I'm glad it's out. I'm a little bit disappointed that I wish there was more collector's edition with this. You know, I was really hoping they would put something out for more bang of a buck. It's really weird because I went to FYE and looked around, and they have some King of the Monster steelbooks, but they're like not Best Buy exclusives. They almost look like the ones that I should clarify first, because my FYE is an independent store. It's not like, you know, one of those, the guy gets to put whatever he wants in it. So, because Andrew brought up, well, how do they have steelbooks if they're exclusive? I honestly didn't know, but I was just thinking about it. And this may not even be the case. I'm just saying, I think because it's an independent store, he may have got the guy that owns it or whoever owns it may have got some steelbooks that they just got in stock, like maybe from Zavvi, or they almost look like the Amazon UK steelbooks. They have that red tint with the monsters in it.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know anything about them. But anyways, that was just kind of weird, bringing that up. But yeah, my FYE has some steelbooks, kind of cool. But I just bought me the BluRay from Target, and I was completely content with that. I'm not much into the steelbooks. I mean, yeah, video games are cool, but there wasn't really anything enticing with the steelbooks. I didn't want to pay the more of the money just for a metal tin, but got all the same bonus features. Now, if there was more stuff in the steelbook special features, then I would have been a lot more interested in getting it, but I didn't. But back to the main topic of the matter. I'm glad I have the movie. I'm definitely going to be watching it for a bit, but it's kind of weird because the hype for it in theaters started off so strong, and then once with the negativity of it in the theaters with how it performed, it's kind of bittersweet having the movie to me. And I don't know why that is, but it's just bittersweet. I just feel like it's like because the movie didn't perform as well as we all wanted it to, it's almost like I can't enjoy it to its full extent on DVD and Blu-ray, knowing how it performed. So it's kind of like a bittersweet, cold shoulder type thing to me. But I'm enjoying it nonetheless. But the special features, I'm disappointed. I mean, yeah, it's cool listening to Mike Doherty and looking and talking about all the Godzilla stuff and the monster creations and stuff, but I was really disappointed with the deleted scenes. I thought that was a waste of time.
Oh, boy.
I thought that was pointless and really stupid to have those. I mean, they don't make any sense. I was really upset with that. I was also, again, really disappointed with Legendary's DVD disc menu design. I mean, I actually like it better than Kong's in 2014's because it's just a blue, and I can look at blue all day and not get my eyes burning. But I'm a little bit disappointed. I mean, I just don't get... I'm starting to think that maybe Warner Brothers and stuff, they really don't seem to care. And I just think that's becoming the bottom line. They don't care about it. They just want to put out something regardless at the end of the day that has to do with making money. And they don't want to spend the money to make it, something that's extravagant. And that's a shame because that would have just made the movie way better. But other than the special effects and everything, I just want to say that I am absolutely glad that King of the Monsters is having quite the strong DVD life. It is topping sales in DVDs and Blu-rays right now, and I think that's amazing. But it just makes me curious to, for one, why did everybody wait for it on DVD? And also, is because now that it is making top sales in the DVD Blu-ray market, I wonder if that's going to aid Godzilla vs. Kong when that comes out by any chance, because it may be, it's just weird how all of a sudden, it's top sales from the DVDs and, but, I guess it's just all part of the ride. And I guess just going forth from here, I'm sitting ship until Godzilla vs. Kong stuff comes out.
Hey, man, I am glad you brought that up. I am so happy you brought that up because I wanted to ask the both of y'all this question, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, I read an article where it did say that Godzilla King of the Monsters is topping the charts when it comes to home video sales. It's, it's number one. They gave percentages, but here's my question. I didn't see, and maybe, because I didn't see this particular thing, maybe y'all did, so inform me. I didn't see any numbers. I didn't see units sold. I didn't see what money is coming in. All it said was, oh, it's number one. And that could have been number one by, I don't know, 3%, or number one by 5%. 10% is cool. But, did any of y'all see any numbers, in terms of money?
I saw one article, and then it had, a 57%. And then right beneath it, what was the other movie that came out?
It was Pokemon dropped, Godzilla dropped, X-Men, I think, just dropped last week. You can't count Aladdin. I think Aladdin.
Secret Life of Pets. Secret Life of Pets was second place.
Yes, that's the one.
And it was like a 30 something, but Godzilla had a 57. And yeah, that was all I really paid attention. I didn't really pay attention to that either But I do remember seeing
There is a website that's kind of like Box Office Mojo that tracks the home video sales numbers.
Oh,
I forget its name off the top of the head, but I could probably look it up sometime later.
yeah, do that, and then we'll come back to that next week, and we'll talk about that because it's a very interesting point that Chase just made. Why did people wait until now to get it? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't we all go out and drove?
I pretty much heard everybody I've ever talked to about the movie was not interested in seeing it in theaters. But talking to them now, pretty much all of them got the Blu-ray. And they say they enjoyed it immensely. And I was like, I told you.
It's crazy because, like, I totally enjoyed that movie more in the theaters. And I've got the setup, you know, I've got the
By the way, how's that regular Blu-ray? Is it just as dark as the 4K?
No, so check this out. That's funny you bring that up. So, Chase, you didn't get a chance to listen to our last podcast, right? The one you weren't on?
Yeah, I didn't listen to it.
Okay, so check this out. I had to adjust my TV to watch Godzilla King of the Monsters in 4K because it was dark. Now, Gams didn't have that issue, and our guest Rob Jira didn't have that issue. I had an issue. So I fuddled with my TV settings and stuff until I found a really good setting to watch it. But as I watched it, everything looks great except the monsters, because now the monsters look cartoony. And I'm like, crap. So it was taking me out of everything. So it's funny you bring that up, Gams, because then on Saturday I went back after the podcast and I went straight to the end. I went to Millie Bobby Brown, putting the orca in, you know, Red Sox Stadium, forgive me, Fenway Park. And then I started changing and playing around again with the settings. And while I found the setting, it got dark again, but it was a good dark. It wasn't a bad dark. It wasn't where I couldn't see anything. It wasn't 2014. I found the setting that worked, and I was like, this is cool. And the crazy fucking thing about it was the default setting I had it on when I put that thing on the first time.
You're kidding.
I swear to God. I was like, you gotta be joking. You gotta be joking. I don't know what no, I'll tell you what I did. I had an input in as normal where my cable connection was the one that you're supposed to put to 4K because it has the output at the highest quality, and I never had it at the highest quality, so I just changed that. And then,
oh goodness!
I still haven't watched Infinity War yet because, like I said a million times, Thanos be in my living room, so I gotta watch that and just check. But yeah, dude, I went back to my default settings and I just put the 4K thing up. Or whatever it was, it was insane. I was like, I can't believe this. And then everything looked good. The monsters looked good. It didn't look cartoony like the first time. Everything looked good. It still wasn't that theater experience, but I was happier. I was like, all right, cool.
You want that theater experience? Come to my house with my setup.
Yeah, no. Listen, man, I'm telling you, I said it when I saw it in the freaking the Dolby Digital Theater or Dolby Cinema. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe that was on the screen. Oh my God, Godzilla's alive! It was awesome. It was amazing. Chase, let me ask you. The special features, because I agree with you, those deleted scenes were wasted. Absolutely terrible, and they made no sense. I made a point of that in the last podcast.
Nothing but agreement over here, too.
All that one deleted scene did was make Emma Russell seem more evil.
Yeah.
And to me, that I felt like that could have been put in the movie.
So I'm gonna ask you this: was there any other special features that caught your attention? Like we made a joke about, I think it was the Monarch Files, or whatever it was called, but I called it Monster Quest Light because that's what it felt like, an episode of Monster Quest that was 15 minutes.
And then I said that Ghidorah is a living meme, confirmed. Beady.
He did. But was there anything that stood out to you, like outside of the deleted scenes being terrible? Like, was there a special feature that caught your eye?
I mean, I'm always interested in seeing how the movies are made. I'm always, because I have a big interest in cinematography. That's one of the reasons why I bought my, I have this, like, German Jurassic Park collector's edition, and it comes in a wooden box, and it has all these special features and everything. And I'm interested to see how they make these movies and stuff. And so I'm always interested in when they talk about how they made it and how they shot this scene and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, it was really interesting listening to Mike Doherty talk about the monsters. And other than that, that was really it. There's nothing really in it that was like, oh my god, that's my favorite deleted scene, or like, oh, that's the best deleted scene. There wasn't really anything that like made me go like, oh wow, or worth really talking about.
Michael Doherty said he has a 3-hour cut of this movie, 3-hour maybe plus cut of this movie, and what we got in those deleted scenes was about 8 minutes of nonsense. Seriously. Absolute nonsense.
More like 5 minutes and some odd seconds.
And that's what's disappointing. It's like, why mention you have a 3-hour cut if we're never going to see it?
Right. Absolutely. So, all right, listen, I want to get into this, and and Chase, you're going to get mad, but I have to, because I've been thinking about it, I've been dwelling on it, and yes, you've said this numerous times since King of the Monsters came out and was in theaters and then was leaving theaters. You've said this.
No, I'm fine if you want to talk about it. You just have to mention that what I bring up is a valid point, and you are praising me.
Long live the king. So we've had this conversation, and I was always on the other side of the conversation when Chase was saying, what if Legendary and Warner Brothers decided to just like either push back Godzilla vs. Kong for a minute or indefinitely, a.k.a. cancel the damn movie. And it's funny, I started thinking about this the other day. I was watching, again, I was like, it's in the Xbox. I didn't take it out of the Xbox. So if there's like absolutely nothing, like if I'm tired of playing Gears at the time or whatever the case may be, I would just throw it on and like Chase said, I would either go to Rodan, even though I can't stand that it's not Rodan's Raw. I would watch that scene because I think it's very entertaining, especially when it fights King Ghidorah. I would just like, I would sit and pick through certain scenes and just watch and have a good time with it. But as I'm doing that, I was just thinking, I'm like, shit, Godzilla 65 is coming up. New York Comic Con is literally a month away, if that. And yes, Legendary might have learned their lesson from King of the Monsters showing too much too early, and then having people outside of the fan base lose interest when it's time to rock and roll. So maybe they're holding on to this. But it started to creep up on me. Everything Chase was talking about. What if they do push this thing back for a minute? Or they just push it back indefinitely? Because one of the things that I was thinking of was the movie Cabin in the Woods. Y'all both seen Cabin in the Woods, correct?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a hot minute, but I have.
Well, y'all know that movie was on the shelf for like 2-3 years, if not longer. That movie was done in the can. That movie was out before Chris Hemsworth was Thor. I wouldn't say before he was Thor, but before he was a star, because of Marvel and shit. That movie was sitting there. I think New Line distributed that movie. Whoever did, it was sitting there. It was sitting
and they have
on
a sequel coming out.
Oh, they have a sequel now. Well, that's shocking.
Coming out. Well, it's because it became a cult classic,
and rightfully so. But I thought about that movie, and I started thinking, with all of the, I would say, negative feedback from Adam Wingard being announced as a director, with the really bad feedback from his Death Note. And again, this is a lot of the things that you, Chase, had said before. I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy crap, Chase is onto something. It is absolutely possible that they do push this movie back. Now, that's not saying they're going to do that. We have, as of right now, as of this recording, we are all under the assumption that Legendary and Warner Brothers is still putting this out March of 2020. But there's that high probability and possibility that it can be pushed back, if not canned outright. So my question to you, and I know, I'm sorry, Chase, you can sound like a broken record, so I'm going to start with Gam Gams. So my question to you, Gam Gams, is, do you think it's possible that Warner Brothers and Legendary says, you know what, let's just cut our losses and shelve this movie for like 2-3 years, or if not indefinitely?
Indefinitely, no, because we already have a poster.
Mm-hmm.
We already know the movie's happening. But as for pushing it back 2-3 years, I don't know. I mean, I'm holding out for next month because that's when they said a trailer's going to drop.
Yeah.
If nothing happens in October, then I'll be joining your guys' boat.
I mean, we still have Godzilla's 65th anniversary. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Okay, let me rephrase. If nothing happens in October, then I'll have 1 foot in your guys' boat. And if nothing happens for the 65th, then I'll be fully in the boat.
She's going to have 1 rod in the river with us.
Chase, I mean, you've been... You, of all people, and it's crazy because after, we stopped recording, we would have conversations, and it's so crazy that if you go back a year ago, okay, and listen to the enthusiasm that was spewing from you about King of the Monsters. I mean, we all had it. We all were, like, super hyped. But there was no way anything was getting in the way of this movie. We were on a mission, and we were just going to plow through it. And then it happened. It came out, and it didn't do what we thought. And all of a sudden, your whole perspective changed. And I was scared. I can't lie. I even said that. I was like, it's so crazy how you went from being so optimistic to now seeing like, oh shit, this could potentially be a reality. Like we could potentially not get this stuff. So I tip my hat to you for doing all that because me, I was already outside. I was on the dock with Andrew. You were already in the boat. But like, how do you feel now about all of this? Do you still feel the same way, or do you feel a little bit like maybe?
So it's hard because I'm really upset with that. I'm really upset they even dropped a poster. That poster wasn't even. It was a thing where it wasn't really even supposed to be shown. It was shown at like a licensing type thing again, and it's not something that's like officially set out. It's not like Warner Brothers and Legendary came out and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." Now, and I get upset with leaks like that because typically they're not supposed to be out, and things can change. Where I'm sitting at it is I'm still in the same spot, but I'm acting as if Godzilla vs Kong doesn't exist. I'm acting as if it's not happening, and when it comes around, when they drop that trailer or more information, I'll be excited. Right now, I'm more excited for Jurassic World 3 than I am for Godzilla vs. Kong because Colin Trevorrow's talking about it and he's posting stuff. And there's going to be a short movie on Sunday that's a tie-in to Jurassic World 3. And I'm excited to see that just because I want to see what's going to go down. So that's where I'm at right now is Jurassic World 3. But once Godzilla and Kong get more stuff and information, I'm going to be on that hype train again for sure. But where I see it is that I don't think Godzilla and Kong are getting canceled.
Okay.
Just because Toho is actually pushing it out more than Legendary is. And I think that's because Toho is wanting to get it over with so they can work on their next Godzilla project. And that's basically what they have said. And then they said, we want to come back after our project and reassess with Legendary and let them figure out what they want to do next. Whether that's a movie, whether that's a TV show, whether that's figures, whether it's video games, it's all of these things. And that's where I'm kind of drawing the line at. That's because that's what Toho said. I don't think the MonsterVerse is going to end, period. Let's say it stops after Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't think it's going to end, though. I think it will be given to us in another shape or form. Maybe a Netflix series, maybe a Hulu series, maybe a Disney Plus series.
Don't you dare.
But
don't go there.
What I'm saying is I don't think it's going to end. But I definitely think that Toho has more of the say in it at this moment, and that's what they've been doing. Toho's doing more damage control than Legendary is. Legendary's being very hush-hush about it. If I'm going to be honest, I still don't have really any hope right now for it with Adam Wingard attached to it, just because I listened to some of his interviews talking about Godzilla versus Kong, and I don't think he gets it. Oh. And I'm nervous about that. He says he's a Godzilla and Kong fan, but I'm very nervous because he said something on the lines of that he's going to make... I mean, he says he's definitely going to have this underlining tone that fits with his film, but he's definitely going to make it feel equal on both fans' side, but he's going to make you want to feel for the monsters. And I think when you do that, you lose track and you start to favor one monster over the other. And so I'm nervous with the direction he's wanting to take it. Do I still think it's going to be a Godzilla versus Kong movie? No, I absolutely don't. Just because with the idea of what we've seen with King Ghidorah coming back and, you know, possibly Rodan and Mothra, I just think there's going to be some type of other monster that's going to take place. And so with that, if that is a main core in the movie, there is no way Godzilla versus Kong comes out in March. You have 3 mega monsters here. I'm sorry, but CGI isn't a thing you just shit out. People can, but if you want to make a movie, you're not going to do that. You're not going if you're going to make a successful film, you're not going to do that. And I just think Legendary and Warner Brothers are waiting for the right moment to say, "Hey, here's a trailer, but listen, we're going to push back our movie." Or they're going to make a comment and a post, and it's going to be Godzilla versus Kong is going to be pushed back, let's say, to 2020 August or 2020 September, 2020 October, 2020 November. One of those months. That's what I'm gathering. I just think that I feel like, and another reason why I'm bittersweet towards King of the Monsters is because I don't like it when movies come out not even a year after each other. The Marvel movies got to pass. Okay. But Godzilla King of the Monsters needs breathing room. People need to watch it, get excited for it, get hyped for it, be happy they have it, get accustomed to it, and then there needs to be this break for excitement for Godzilla vs. Kong, because Godzilla vs. Kong at this point has no hype, no juice, no energy. And if you drop a trailer in October for Godzilla vs. Kong, people are going to be like, what the hell? There was just Godzilla King of the Monsters. Why is this one already coming out? And it's just going to kind of be a laughing stock, whether you want to admit it or not. And I just don't think that's smart. Even in November would be where I would put the trailer, but I don't think it should come out in March still. And that's where I still stand. I think March is a horrible month to put it. And that is not enough breathing room for them to make sure the movie's done the way they want. And Adam Wingard, with him not having the best track record, and I'm really sorry, Adam, if you listen to this podcast by any chance or have been. I don't hate you. I don't think you're a bad director. I think you're a talented man. I just want to make sure the characters that I love, you're going to handle with care and not just make a movie to give yourself 10 grand in your pocket or something. You know, that's all I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying to Legendary. Don't make this, here's the thing, don't make this movie if you just want a quick buck. Make this movie if you want to take care of it and make a franchise out of it. Not if you're just going to half-ass it and put it in your pocket. And that's what I'm afraid is what's going on. And that's why I'm kind of salty and a little bit upset with the fandom right now, because all I'm seeing is, where's the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer? Where's the Godzilla vs. Kong teaser? You know, when is that coming? When is that coming? Oh, I can't wait for it. It's going to be great. And I'm like, the optimism is kind of naive. And I have to be a realist, because I mean we've been without Godzilla for a long time, and now that it's back, I don't want to lose that. And I'm prepared for being without it for another 10 years, to be honest.
Let me tell you something, man. Oh my God.
I hope that's not the case, and I don't think that's going to be the case, because I know Toho's going to make their movies and stuff. But I have to be a realist in this case, and I think we all are. When you come down to the bottom line of it, you have to think of it as a business and a real point. Does it make sense for it to drop a trailer and then come out in March with how little time that is? That's October, November, December, January. October, November, December, January, February, March. That's 6 months from now.
Yeah, but you got to remember they have been working on a movie now. But I before I even get into that, man, you have made some beautiful points there. The one that really caught me, the one I started slow clapping to was Godzilla King of the Monsters needs to breathe. God damn, if that wasn't beautiful right there, that was a perfect statement. Because you're absolutely right. When 2014 came out, we had 3 years in between a MonsterVerse movie. Then Skull Island came out and introduced the idea of Godzilla existing in the same world as Kong because of the end credit sequence. Then 2 years after that, which is a really decent time for, a movie to drop within the same franchise, we get King of the Monsters. That was this year. And you're absolutely right. It has no time to breathe the way Godzilla had time to breathe for 3 years. Kong had time to breathe for 2. And then King of the Monsters comes out and it's like, wham, bam, thank you, man. Here's Godzilla vs. Kong. And you're right. If you just slow it down, reel it in, pull it back, and let it breathe on its own, I absolutely agree with that.
And I just think that decision, that's going to give people time to come around as well. That's going to give time for people to notice, oh, this movie is actually pretty cool. Oh, wait, now there's going to be a new one? Cool. Because then you'll get it might show up on HBO or some TV show or on Fox. People are going to see it. You got to understand, there's people that can't afford DVDs or, if you want to believe that, there's people that can't afford it. So when they catch it on TV, you need it to build. You need it to be put out there. You can't just put it out there and then squeeze out another one, and it's just going to be one confusing, and there's just going to be no life for it. And King of the Monsters needs a little bit more life right now, and that's where I'm at. So I'm just a little bit cautious about all of it. I really honestly don't want King of Godzilla vs. Kong to come out this year. I want it to be pushed back, either a year or not maybe 2 years, but at least a year. I would be totally fine seeing it in November of 2020 or October or something. I have no problem waiting, because to me, honestly, as a person that does what I do, when I look at news and I look at stuff and I report on information, it's tiring, man. And I'm burnt out with King of the Monsters. I haven't done anything on my Megalon page just because there's nothing to do, and I just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to stay up late and look for news and stuff like that right now.
I got you.
And if Godzilla vs. Kong stuff starts coming out, I'm going to be like, oh, man, me pulling my hair out. I'm going to go bald.
Gams, you got anything you want to say? Because I got to be honest, man, I really did. He said a couple of things that I absolutely agree with. Did anything stand out to you?
Not really. It's mostly the same spiel that's been coming out for the past few months, like he said.
I honestly, the idea of Godzilla King. You know what though? You did say something. It needs time to breathe and all that stuff. Toho was pumping them out every year. They were cranking them out every year.
Like the Heisei series was back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. There was some breathing room between 84 and Biollante and King Ghidorah, but after King Ghidorah, bam, 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 bam.
89, yeah, you're right. 89, 91. You're right. 91 or 92? 91.
Yeah, no, King Ghidorah was 91, then Mothra was 92, Mechagodzilla 93, Space Godzilla 94, Destroyer 95.
They did that with the Showa movies, which, by the way, is coming out in about a month. I can't wait. Get it ready. Lock it down, people.
Boy, I don't have enough money.
Yeah, you better stop doing that collection. Ladies and gentlemen, we are, once again, collecting money for Gam Z1 because he has a problem, a serious problem.
His cocaine addiction.
I have a problem.
We gotta.
I need to stop, but I can't.
He buys the Transformers toys and he crushes them all up, and then he snorts all the plastic dust.
No, not plastic plastic. What I crush up and snort is the vinyl.
Oh,
For my Godzillas.
it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
I just take that vinyl. I just take that vinyl like this brand new EVA 01 Kiryu that I got. I just like, oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not in any way, shape, or form condoning the use of drugs, whether it be crack cocaine or vinyl. Don't do it, is what I'm saying. Let me ask y'all guys a question. Let me ask y'all this. Staying on topic of what we were talking about, but going a little bit different. Now, we know Toho wants to continue Godzilla. I mean, regardless of what Chase and I think, Shin Godzilla really was something in Japan. It was a phenomenon in Japan. But Toho wants to continue and grow and do different things. They're not doing a Shin Godzilla 2. Let me ask you, if Legendary is like, oh, we're going to shelve this movie for now, Godzilla vs. Kong. And we already know that Godzilla King of the Monsters financially in the box office didn't do what everybody thought. But if they were to shelve Godzilla vs. Kong, what do you think that means for the franchise and for the fan base? Because, like Chase said, he's actually kind of glad that there's no news coming out right now because he would be pulling his hair out. He's just tired of it. But, like, if it went away, like, for the fan base, especially us, because we do get ravenous at times. I remember, calling for that Godzilla King of the Monster trailer like mad. Like it's in the podcast. I was going nuts. Hell, even for Shin Godzilla, where the hell is the trailer? Where the hell is the trailer? We did podcasts with an hour of me just asking, where the hell's the trailer? But if, let's say, Godzilla vs. Kong doesn't come out, it's kind of a blow to the franchise, right? Regardless if Toho was like, that's okay because we want to do what we want to do anyway, but it's kind of like there's no interest in it outside of the fan base. And if that's the case, how do we recoup? Chase actually kind of nailed it and said we already been through lulls when it comes to spans between Godzilla movies. That's true. From Showa to Heisei, from Heisei to Millennium, from Millennium to Reiwa, whatever they call it now, right?
Reiwa, whatever
right?
it's called.
Yeah, they call it the Reiwa era.
The Reiwa. So, Chase, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to hit you Gams. Do you think that it would have a massive impact? Because it's going to be impactful anyway. Do you think it's going to be a massive impact or a minimal impact on the fan base? Because, we want Godzilla right now. And then I guess, Andrew, you can answer, how does that impact the franchise? So, go ahead, Chase. Fan base.
Now, do you mean as an impact negatively? Or
yeah,
positively?
how each and anyway, because if the movie doesn't come out, right, and
So,
we're all
here's my thing. If you want a product to be more known and pushed out there, you don't want it to be hidden. I do think movies should be placed at perfect times, and I definitely think King of the Monsters definitely suffered from that because it also clarifies that if it's making tons, if it's doing well in DVD sales, I bet it would have done a lot better at a different place. But now, however, going on the topic, I think that they shouldn't, I can understand being pushed back a year, but don't push Godzilla vs. Kong back 2 years. I think if Godzilla vs. Kong got shelved, it definitely would impact it negatively because you don't have this product on the market anymore. And let's face it, Toho movies aren't going to make waves in American culture audiences.
You're right.
And, that's kind of where I was kind of thinking Toho needed to go is where they should definitely do a thing where they did a Toho movie, then a Hollywood movie, then a Toho movie, a Hollywood movie. That could benefit them entirely. But if Toho's putting out Godzilla movies, it's not. Now, the one thing Toho will have on that is it's not going to change negatively over in Japan unless the movie's horrible. Now, if Toho keeps putting out quality movies, as much as it's hard to say, like Shin Godzilla, it's going to be fine. It's going to be rampant. Now, they're talking about more animes, and Oof. That is still...
Please, for the love of God, no.
That still is a viable thing. That could be a good thing, because anime is a big pop culture type thing. But with Godzilla, I don't think that's enough just to make a Godzilla anime. What people like in Godzilla is the live actions. We want to watch something that makes it feel it's real. And we don't want to watch. A lot of the fans aren't that interested in cartoons. Now, there's a big portion of them that do like animated films, and I don't knock that. I personally don't care for animated films. But I definitely think an animated Legendary series would be sick.
Yeah.
But I think it's not really going to impact it's not really going to impact the over in the East that much. That in Asia's audience as much, unless it's just a bad movie. Now, so that's the thing. That's the only good thing they have going for them. So as long as they're okay making good movies, it's not going to change. What they need to win over is the American audience. And that's hard because us American culture is such a divided culture, and we're all into very taboo and different things, and like in the UK, it's different because they're all for monster movies. It just seems like the American audience is so stubborn when it comes to these things. We have a lot of people in the culture have a harder time getting into whimsical, but the rest of the world seems to be okay. So that's where I'm saying they definitely shouldn't shelve it. They should have something to put it out to where it's known. I think that's only going to benefit it. But it's the same thing. Don't make a crappy movie though, just for the benefit of it. Make sure the movie you're putting out is decent.
Yeah.
Because it's better to have a product shoved down people's throats that's good than a product that's shoved down people's throats and it's bad.
That's so
But either way, I still think it's kind of a bittersweet thing because shoving it down people's throats, no one likes that. Look at the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
That's a different podcast. We can't. Let's not talk about that anymore. Right? Let's jump off.
That's the G Show After Dark.
That's the G Show After Dark podcast. Games. Let me ask you, franchise-wise, would it affect the franchise in a negative way if Godzilla vs Kong was pushed back or canceled?
The franchise as a whole?
As a whole. Toho, Legend as a whole. Like the Godzilla franchise.
I mean, the Godzilla franchise has lasted this long and has suffered many, 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 many canceled projects before.
Yeah, but none as prominent as this. None that was actually said, this movie's coming out right now or in a year. This is the release date.
This is true.
I mean, we're talking about like canceled in concept.
If Legendary were to renege on their release date and either push it back a few months, a few years, indefinitely, whatever, I think that would probably hurt their relationship with Toho. Like Daddy Toho would probably not be happy about that. But as the affecting the overall view and quality of the franchise, I don't even know if I could say if it would affect it either which way because, well, it hasn't happened yet.
True.
I just want to add, I think pushing it back wouldn't hurt it at all. Shelving it's a different thing, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. I mean, that's one of those things, and I don't think that's going to happen. But there's a possibility. It's always a possibility.
And I think the new business deal Toho has done with Legendary that they're doing now, their partnership, quote unquote partnership. I think if Legendary came to Toho and was like, look, with King of the Monsters, how it went, we want to take a little bit more time with Godzilla vs Kong. Is it cool if we push it back a couple months? I think Toho will be supportive of it. I don't think they would be like, oh no, just because if we're just talking a couple of months, as in, I think.
I was more along the lines of Daddy Toho wouldn't like if they canned it.
Oh yeah, if they totally canned it, and that's the thing, Toho can't afford Legendary to put out another bomber. Can't put out another, not a bomber, but they can't put out. Toho can't afford Legendary to have another fail.
Right.
And Toho, because this big partnership they did probably cost a lot of money, and Toho is probably not going to want it to fail. And that's also why I think Toho has said more about it than Legendary has, because Toho's probably coming out with the reins on this one.
Oh my God, Chase, you know what? It just made me think of something. Toho has been so stingy with Godzilla, and when they finally say, you know what, here, do your thing, it failed. It failed. And now you got Toho looking back and saying, you know, and again, I hate saying it, but it is the facts. You know, we made that Shin Godzilla movie, right? That shit did a lot of business. It won some awards and stuff. So what if the American people think it's divisive? We don't care. It's not for them anyway. It's a Japanese thing, right? It's so crazy to think about that. Toho said, okay, here, we want Godzilla to go global, and right out the gate, it tripped. It tripped and it fell. One can only hope it gets back up and continues the race, whether it wins or not, as long as it does the damn job. So all you gotta do, don't trip, fall, and cry about it. Get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. That's what I hope Godzilla vs. Kong turns into. Something where we can all sit back and appreciate the entire franchise, you know, that Legendary put together.
And that's why I think it would be best if it was pushed back a little bit further than March, you know. Give God, look, the problem, and that's another thing too, is they're already saying that Godzilla vs. Kong toys are making headlines in some toy articles coming out. Now that worries me, because
I think it said that it is neither Jack specific or the people who made the Kong Skull Island toys. It's another company that's making them.
Yeah, I think it's the people that were doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys.
Wait, which one? Playmates?
Yeah. What's that?
Playmates?
Yeah.
Wait, Playmates is making Godzilla toys?
Yes, they're going to be making Godzilla toys.
Get ready, people, because trust me when I tell you this. As a child born of the 70s and grew up in the 80s, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my number one thing on television. Yes, I love Godzilla. Yes, I love Star Wars. But on a daily basis, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So when Playmates started rolling those toys out, and they did not look like what was on the television, and they gave the turtles leeches on their head. Why did the turtles have leeches on their hands? It made no sense. Because they live in the sewer? That shit wasn't even in the comic books. Get prepared, people. We're going to see some funky stuff come out of a Playmates line. Good God Almighty.
Well, where I was going with it is that merchandise for Godzilla vs. Kong excuse me, is starting to make rumors and its rounds around the internet. And you want a good lengthy time for merchandise, and usually it's about a year. So I'm interested to see how well this merchandise line does, because if it's coming out soon and the movie comes out in March, allegedly, when is the merchandise coming out?
It should.
If the Godzilla King of the Monsters merchandise is anything to go by, we should start seeing stuff about a month before the film.
Yeah, that's not smart.
It's not. You think about what's coming up,
not
too.
Smart at all.
Christmas is coming up. You would think that they would want at least Kong and Godzilla to be prominently featured for like a Christmas rush. You know what I mean?
I mean, we still have the Godzilla King of the Monsters stuff on the shelf. They haven't pulled those.
But if we're getting a brand new company making the toy line, you know, like, so let's say the Jack Specifics, they're not selling, and we don't know what, if say Playmates is doing this, what that looks like just yet. I don't know. I'm not a collector. Like, it's a mind-boggling question that I really would like to spend more time on. So I think I'm dedicating the next podcast.
As a collector, I'm just saying, we're not done with the King of the Monsters merch. We still have the SH Monster Arts Mothra and Rodan to get. We still have a bunch of the X Plus stuff to get. That stuff's not out yet. Godzilla King of the Monsters merch is not done.
And that's why I'm glad that Andrew said that, because this is the problem. If you have Godzilla vs Kong coming out in March, and you have a franchise whose merchandise isn't finished yet, that's conflicting with each other.
Yeah.
And that's bad business. Now I just don't see it. I just don't see Godzilla vs. Kong come out in March. I just don't see it with everything going on. I mean, King of the Monsters, that's why I said you need King of the Monsters to have its breathing room, because there's like the Rubios, the Rubies costume stuff and all the merchandise that was slated to come out hasn't even come out yet. They had a big mega surplus of stuff that's supposed to be coming out in the fall, and that's not even out yet. I mean, come on. I will say this, though. October 3rd to the 6th. That is New York Comic-Con.
Oh, that's okay. I thought it was later than that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I thought it was coming like a week or two after that, but October 3rd to the 6th?
No.
Sure.
I will say that New York Comic-Con has been known to show trailers for good movies and hyped up popular movies. I mean, it is possible. We got Pacific Rim 2 trailer, and that came out in February. It is possible. However, we all know what happened with Pacific Rim 2.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I hope that's not the case with Godzilla vs. Kong.
I haven't seen Uprising yet.
Yeah.
What?
You haven't seen Uprising yet?
Nope.
Oh, man. I say this. If you like Pacific Rim, don't see Uprising.
Hey, Game.
That's why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I will. So I'll say this: if we don't get a trailer in November, I don't think Godzilla vs. Kong's coming out in March.
I agree with that.
I'm holding on October, November. I'm not even really holding on to October, other than the fact of Comic-Con and the rumor, mind you, that some person said is coming out in October. And it wasn't even a person, it was that Trailer Track. Trailer Track, the website. They said we should expect it in October. That's all they said.
Yeah.
Now, that to me, I'm not even holding on to that. But just for the matter of the case of me not wanting Godzilla vs. Kong to come out, I hope we don't get a trailer in October. And I hope we don't get one in November, because I want the movie to be pushed back. I do. I honestly believe pushing the movie back months will benefit it.
Okay, Chase, I have a question.
What's up?
If a trailer does come out in Comic-Con, if the movie is on track for March, if we start getting stuff moving and going as soon as one comes out, like during New York Comic-Con or sometime after that, are you just going to be complaining the whole time that this shouldn't be happening?
Honestly, I'm definitely going to be praying for the best.
That's fair.
I stand firm where I think if the trailer drops and it's set for a March 2020, Legendary and Warner Brothers better have some hell of a marketing campaign that gets people interested, and they better have one hell of a movie on their hands, or sorry, it's a turd in the punch bowl, man. That's where I stand.
All right, I'm gonna jump over this because the last thing, because we're gonna wrap up soon, and I really wanna just do this. I want to do oh my God, we were supposed to talk about the death battle. We're gonna do that next week. We'll do that next week. I promise we'll do that next week. I forgot all about that. What a Nimrod. But I do want to say this. I've been playing a lot of Gears 5 since it came out last week for us Ultimate Plus members, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And it got me thinking, all right? It got me thinking because you got to fight it's called the Swarm Mech in this, but it's a Brumak to me, because that's what Gears is always is. It's a Brumak. It got me thinking. And then we talk about giant monsters here. Let's talk about video games versus movies here. A Brumak, okay, isn't that much bigger than the Rancor from The Return of the Jedi, Star Wars. So in my head, I was like, bless you, I was like, what would win in a fight? Take the weapons off of the Brumak and just let it go up against a Rancor, just fisticuff wise. What monster would win in a fight? So, Games, I know I sprung this on you like right before we went live, but
Okay.
I think you might have some time to stew. You've played Gears of War. You know what a Brumak is. You've seen Return of the Jedi. You know what a Rancor is.
Of course.
Who do you think gets the upper hand in a death battle?
I'm basing my opinion as to what killed each creature. You can kill a Brumak in Gears with a gun. All right? Yeah, it takes a while, but you can still kill it with a gun. Rancor, it took a Jedi to kill it.
Wait. You think Jabba was letting anything he sent down to defeat the Rancor have weapons? No. Luke did have his lightsaber.
But still, he was a Jedi. That's the difference. It took a Jedi getting shoved down there to finally kill that thing. Everything else died horribly.
Oh, man, I'm pretty sure there's a video game out there, and it's probably one of the Dark Forces games where you actually can kill a Rancor with a blaster.
The old, like, Han Solo Sega game or Nintendo game, I'm pretty sure I killed a Rancor with his gun.
Oh, that's right.
That's
It's
not
like a
canon.
Super Star Wars game. You're right.
That's not canon. That's not
I used to
canon.
go to the dentist.
They were both in video game form. Chase, what do you think, Brumak or Rancor?
Dude, I don't know, man, because I think they're equally matched. Take away their weapons. I mean, I feel like they'd be equal in strength. I mean, they both have teeth. Dude, I don't know. I think it just depends which one's more mad, but I don't know. I really don't know, but I think I don't know. I keep thinking a Brumak might have more of a chance.
As much as it pains me to say that, I do agree with you. It seems to me the Brumak is much beefier. He's stronger.
Yeah, he's more broad, more burly.
Yeah.
More savage, I feel like, maybe.
The Rancor has the claws, so if let's say the Rancor can utilize the claws and maybe just rip the Brumak's throat out, a la Roadhouse Patrick Swayze, then we might be talking a different thing. But that's also figuring out if the Rancor, trained under Bruce Lee. We don't know that.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to ask the guys behind Death Battle to do that. A Brumak or a Rancor.
Not for nothing, that I would totally watch. That should be a death battle. But next week, I swear to God, we'll talk about that Megazord, the Dragon Zord, Mecha Godzilla death battle. I really wanted to talk about that this one, but we're out of time.
That was such a good fight.
We're out of time. We'll talk about it next week. That's a good lead-in for next week.
And it was non-biased.
Yeah, well,
It was truth.
We're definitely going to talk about it next week because I've got opinions. Anyhow, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode of the G Show of the Godzilla Block Party. I want to thank, of course, my guests on it, my cohorts, you know them. Gam Z1, thank you for being here, brother.
Oh, yeah, always a pleasure.
And, of course, Chase, welcome back. I'm glad you're back. I'm
Well,
so
it's
happy to
good
have
to
you.
be back. I had fun talking about all of this, even though, I mean, I will say I was a little kind of uneasy about the idea of talking about it again, but I feel like I'm finally getting through to people.
Now if only we could get through to most other people about Shin
In
Godzilla.
all honesty, if you want to talk about reasons why Godzilla vs. Kong gets pushed back anytime, I'm always going to talk to you about it.
Yeah, see that? That's another episode right there. We'll just recycle. No, anyhow, that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for listening. And this is the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1, and we are out of here. Peace.